You're what? You're sorry?
Nah, like, I don't, like, I didn't say anything.
No, you said a lot of shit. Like direct quote that I said only to you because I fucking trusted you.
Man, when? I didn't do that.
This weekend. I understand you want to ask follow-up questions instead of addressing the fact that you're a fucking snake, but...
Bro, I didn't say that. Like seriously.
Well...
No Jumper, from the coolest podcast to the most dangerous podcasts in the world. No Jumper originally featured interviews with many celebrities, including Jake Paul, XXXTentacion, and Lil Peep. However, today the show operates more like Death Row Records, where one wrong word can lead to serious consequences. Much like Suge Knight did at Death Row, Adam22 has begun bringing on active gang members and former convicts recently released from prison. No Jumper has transformed into a space where Bloods and Crips dominate the conversation, with a heavy focus on gang culture. Connections to the streets. Both figures have ties to street culture and gangs. Suge Knight had direct affiliations with the Bloods and used his connections to manage and protect his label. Adam22, in a similar vein, has hired active gang members as co-hosts. His No Jumper platform has become a place where gang culture and street life are discussed openly, giving him a reputation for aligning himself with that world. As Compton AD joined No Jumper in 2020 after initially appearing as a guest, Adam22 saw potential in AD's engaging personality, industry connections, and street credibility with the Lantana Block Compton Crips, which led to him becoming a regular host on the platform. AD brought a streetwise perspective and balanced some of the more controversial discussions on the show. Adam22 later hired T-Rel as a host on No Jumper around 2021. T-Rel, a former associate of Tyga, initially gained recognition through his industry connections. He later built a strong presence on No Jumper with his charismatic personality and street credibility with the 52 Hoovers. T-Rel was introduced to Adam22 through 80 who vouched for him, leading to his guest appearances. After several guest spots, Adam22 recognized T-Rel's potential and added him as a full-time personality on the platform. T-Rel became a key figure in No Jumper panel discussions, interviews, and live streams, often bringing humor and strong opinions. In mid-2023, Bricc Baby joined No Jumper, adding a fresh dynamic to the platform, especially given his deep ties to Los Angeles street culture. As a known affiliate of the Rollin 60s Crips, his presence adds an element of authenticity to discussions surrounding street politics, music, and West Coast culture. His association with the Rollin 60s places him in a lineage of influential figures from the set, including Nipsey Hussle. However, it also raises questions about No Jumper's increasing alignment with real-life street politics, something that has already led to internal tensions and the departure of several key hosts. With No Jumper already facing scrutiny for its handling of gang topics, Bricc Baby's role could either bring deeper insight into LA's hip-hop scene or further push the platform into controversial territory. Whether his presence helps elevate No Jumper or adds to its ongoing turbulence remains to be seen. Wack 100, a prominent music executive and manager, has been involved in various partnerships and controversies within the hip-hop industry. He and Adam22, founder of the No Jumper podcast, recently garnered significant attention for their unconventional collaboration. In January 2025, the two announced that they had swapped wives and produced adult content together, a move that sparked widespread discussion and criticism. Beyond his business ventures, Wack 100 has a history of associations with notable figures in the hip-hop community, including Suge Knight, the co-founder of Death Row Records. Wack 100 has publicly discussed various incidents involving Knight, such as an event where Suge Knight served 10 months in jail in an assault case. Wack 100 has been openly linked to the Bloods, which is a large street gang primarily based in Los Angeles, though it has a nationwide presence. His affiliation is something he mentions frequently in interviews and public appearances, often as a way to assert his credibility and street reputation. The phrase on Pyru that he often says is a reference to his gang, the Pacoima Pyru Bloods, or 2 P's and a B subset of the Bloods, based in a neighborhood in the San Fernando Valley region of Los Angeles County. Pyru refers to a street in Compton, California that was pivotal in the early formation of the Bloods in the late 1970s and early 1980s. By saying on Pyru 100 is essentially making a statement of loyalty to the Pyru Bloods specifically. It's a kind of verbal stamp of authenticity or seriousness when he's talking about certain situations, especially when he's trying to reinforce his street credibility or assert dominance in a conversation. However, Wack 100 rose to prominence after an altercation with Stitches, a rapper from Miami. He was known for his online beefs and controversial persona and had been taunting the game on social media for weeks, trying to provoke a confrontation. On the night of the incident, Stitches attempted to approach the game outside a Miami nightclub but was stopped by security. As tensions escalated, Wack 100 punched Stitches, knocking him out cold with a single punch. The altercation was caught on video and quickly went viral, humiliating Stitches in front of fans in the hip-hop community. The viral fight outside the No Jumper office does have some parallels to the notorious incidents involving Death Row Records. Both situations involved high-profile altercations that garnered significant media attention and raised concerns about the safety and security of those involved. For instance, the No Jumper incident saw a violent confrontation in a parking lot, with individuals being knocked unconscious, pistol-whipped, and stripped butt naked. Similarly, Death Row Records was infamous for its association with violent incidents and confrontations, often involving its artists and associates. No Jumper and Death Row both hire gang members from rival factions. For instance, Suge Knight, a member of the Compton Bloods, is known to employ members of the Looters Park Mob Pyru, while hiring gang members from rival Crip sets. Bricc Baby, a known member of the Rollin 60s Crips, is now co-hosting No Jumper alongside 4 Extra, who represents the Rollin 40s Crips, one of their biggest enemies. These two aren't just co-workers, they're from rival gangs with real street history, and their on-air exchanges are laced with thinly veiled shots and personal jabs.
On 6-0, cause ain't no 40s coming to the 60s pushing no issues. Rollin 60s, ain't near 40 coming to the 60s with no type of drama.
But the BS doesn't stop there. Wack 100A, a hardcore member of the Bloods, the sworn enemies of all Crips, constantly stirring the pot with his explosive takes and fearless antagonism. With these deeply rooted gang affiliations colliding under one media platform, No Jumper isn't just playing with fire, it's practically inviting a war zone into the studio. How long before these tensions explode into something far bigger than just words? Adam 22 vs. American Cholo. In 2022, American Cholo, a prominent figure in the Latino community, criticized Adam 22 and the No Jumper podcast for their handling of certain situations, including the promotion of controversial content and guests. He accused Adam 22 of being a culture vulture and exploiting minority communities for views and profit. The criticism led to a series of heated exchanges on social media. American Cholo demanded that certain clips be taken down from No Jumper's Instagram account, which he felt were misleading and damaging to his reputation. No Jumper allegedly posted edited videos that portrayed American Cholo in a negative light. These videos were seen as an attempt to discredit him and fuel the ongoing feud. The situation escalated when American Cholo showed up at the No Jumper studio with a group of people, including some gang members. This confrontation was intense and highlighted the deep-seated tensions between the two parties. The feud drew significant attention from fans and the media, with many people taking sides. Some supported American Cholo's stance, while others defended Adam 22 and No Jumper's approach to content creation. Lil Kelpie vs. Almighty Suspect. Some co-hosts and staff members have distanced themselves from the podcast due to disagreements over the direction and content of the show. This has led to public disputes and further controversy. These factors have contributed to No Jumper's controversial status, similar to the notoriety that surrounded Death Row Records in the 1990s. The altercation between Lil Kelpie and Almighty Suspect took place during an interview on the No Jumper podcast. In November 2022, Lil Kelpie, a self-proclaimed pimp, went viral on another podcast, which led to his appearance on No Jumper. Almighty Suspect, a rapper and co-host, challenged Kelpie's authenticity and credibility during the interview. The interview quickly turned into a heated argument. Almighty Suspect questioned Lil Kelpie's claims and accused him of being a fraud. The tension between the two escalated as they exchanged insults and provocations. The situation reached a boiling point when Almighty Suspect physically attacked Lil Kelpie. The fight broke out on camera, with Almighty Suspect releasing a flurry of punches. The host tried to mediate and calm them down, but the altercation continued for a while. The fight drew significant attention from fans and the media. Almighty Suspect later explained his side of the story, stating that he felt disrespected by Lil Kelpie's claims and behavior. Flacco vs. 16 Shot 'em. The altercation occurred during an interview with 16 Shot 'em Visuals, a rapper and videographer. The tension between Flacco and 16 Shot 'em had been building up due to previous online exchanges and disagreements. During the interview, Flacco made a provocative comment, telling 16 Shot 'em to suck his you-know-what. This remark escalated the situation, leading 16 Shot 'em to spit on Flacco in response. The confrontation nearly turned physical, but the host and other individuals present intervened to prevent a full-blown fight. The incident drew significant attention from fans and the media. Flacco and 16 Shot 'em both addressed the situation publicly, with Flacco trying to deflect the situation and 16 Shot 'em explaining his actions. Trouble in Paradise. Bricc Baby, a rapper and host on No Jumper LA, was recently arrested as part of a federal operation targeting the Rollin 60s Neighborhood Crips gang. This operation, called Operation Drawdown, led to the arrest of 10 alleged gang members and associates. The charges include drug trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and firearms offenses. The investigation also implicated Eugene Big U. Henry, mastermind and leader of the gang. Baby's arrest has sparked discussions, with Adam22, a fellow No Jumper host, expressing support and planning to document the ordeal. This isn't Bricc Baby's first legal trouble. He has faced previous arrests, including one in 2017 for alleged armed robbery. Big U faces serious charges like murder and extortion. Authorities aim to dismantle violent criminal enterprises and improve community safety. Will No Jumper follow Death Row's path? Both No Jumper and Death Row Records experienced a turning point where hosts and artists began distancing themselves due to escalating violence and internal conflicts. Just as major artists like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Daz Dillinger sought to leave Death Row due to its toxic and dangerous environment, key figures from No Jumper, including AD, T-Rel, and Sharp, exited the platform amid concerns over its direction and rising tensions. While Death Row Records ultimately fell apart due to internal conflicts and street violence, No Jumper still has the opportunity to pivot and avoid the same fate. However, if Adam22 continues hiring individuals with deep gang affiliations without managing the potential conflicts, it risks becoming a breeding ground for real-life drama, just as Death Row did in the 90s.